In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Go on, smash those likes. Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal live stream. How are you? Tudo bem? Yes, let's pepper the conversation with Portuguese this morning. Peppering with Portuguese pimento style. So do that, please. And how's it going with your 15 to 40 minutes, whichever you've decided to do? Was that a fit of pique, James? And thank you for your message this morning. I don't understand what it means, and I might need to have those links resent to me. I do beg your pardon. Thank you so much for being so diligent and helpful. And sorry if I've overlooked anything temporarily. That's a general blanket apology and caveat for everybody. So if you are sending me things and you feel like I'm ignoring you, it's probably not that. It wouldn't be that. So please resend. We have a very big bag here, very full mail bag of a morning. So, and I'm delighted about that. But I'm very happy to be and not but. We're an and not a but place here. Ooh. And please remind me if you're thinking, I sent that to Carl, I didn't show it or didn't read that out. Please resend, and I'll do my best to include it, including lovely messages like this from Ireland this morning. Deagle's in first in at what time was this? 7:56. Deagle, good effort, sir. Bon dia, Carl. Today, 1st of February, of course, and tomorrow it's all the twos, isn't it? 2022, which is a Tuesday, which doesn't quite work out, does it? No. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? That it's all the twos tomorrow. But it's the 1st of February today. Where did January go? We're into February already, and it's feast day, a feast day in Ireland, St. Bridget's Day. And what a fantastic picture of St. Bridget you sent me. The instructions actually on how to make these reed emblems, the distinctive St. Bridget's cross, which are placed above front doors. So actually, let me just, and Deagle adds actually, 11 sleeps till I arrive in Faro. Think I need to test on entry. Is that your language or for COVID? But well worth it. It has not gone away. What's not gone away? The testing. Well, anyway, but I think we can expect a change on that sometime soon, I suspect. But yes, the status quo is that you are, I think, having to still be tested, but who knows what will happen in 11 sleeps time. Let's have a look at St. Bridget then. Here she is. Thank you, Deagle, for this morning. And that's how to, well, we'll show you how to make one of those crosses in a minute. But may Bridget bless the house wherein you dwell. Let's share this with everybody this morning. I really mean it. May Bridget bless the house wherein you dwell. Bless every fireside, every wall and door. Bless every heart that beats beneath its roof. Bless every hand that tolls to bring it joy. Bless every foot that walks through its portals through. May Bridget bless the house that shelters you. There you go. St. Bridget's blessing this morning. And of course, we can share with you the instructions, which you'll have to pause. You'll have to rewind and pause on this, or I can send them to you if you're keen to do it. But look at that. A simple, it looks like a doily, doesn't it? I'm not going to call it a doily. We're going to call it St. Bridget's cross. And you can make one of those with those instructions. This being the feast day of St. Bridget. Feast days. We live every day like a feast day, don't we? Aren't we lucky, so many of us here in this community? Baldylocks is in as well. Good morning to you, Baldylocks. We're cold San Diego. And yeah, a bit of a chilly Portugal this morning, certainly my part of it. And let me just remove your comment for just one moment, Baldylocks. Thanks for joining us on the gardening Q&A yesterday. And it looks like this is the a little bit of scrubland, where I think in this suburban area, that area you see in the foreground there would be a children's playground. They didn't get round. Goodness gracious, I needed to suck on a doctor or a saint this morning. And I'm preparing myself for a lozenge special. I have been buying all manner of lozenges as I see them, the rebosados. the cough sweets, throat sweets that you see around Portugal. I love them, and I'm building up quite a collection. So I might do a test on air sometime soon. Dr. Bayard, I think it's still my favourite. Saint Javier the next, and there's a fennel one, a Fourche-based cough sweet as well. Lots of good ones, and found a couple of others as well. So we can do the witch test of cough sweets. But anyway, look at this picture from this morning. This is the picture I like to share with you when I'm out on my dog walk. Don't remember that object being there in the left-hand corner. Isn't that bizarre? When you take a picture, you don't remember something that you later see in it. But there you go, the sun rising on what would probably have been a children's playground. It looks quite rural, doesn't it? From this angle, surrounded by houses behind me, and just that lovely view of the rising sun in the morning. Crispy it was earlier this morning. And we go to yesterday's Algarve. Thank you, Anna, for this. Look at this beautiful shot. 913-590-303 if you want to send in your pictures. And you can see that it looks like a golf swing, doesn't it? But there's somebody fishing there. And Anna's title that goes with that. Thank you, Anna. You've got such a great eye for a good photo. What a day, she says. The man, the sea, and the sun. Thank you so much, Anna. That's a beautiful photograph. And you can feel, can't you, how crisp the air is almost from that, but how bright the sky is as well in the Algarve there. And Wisteria down in, I'm going to say down in Oregon. That's not right, is it? Over in Oregon, looking through the Wisteria. We showed some lovely photos of OLP's garden yesterday. So from Oregon, looking through the Wisteria, loving receiving your photographs. 913-590-303 on WhatsApp. Always happy to receive pictures from all over the world. Belfast represented this morning, Oregon represented, and of course the Algarve right there. Let's stay in the Algarve with an announcement for the moment as well. This being Consumer Tuesday, as you can see, Serenity's Michael Averbukh will be with us from 9 o'clock. You've got your health insurance. Now what is the angle we're taking? And looking forward to a conversation with Michael as ever. And I imagine you'll be crowbarring in a few medical inquiries whilst he's here, talking about Serenity and what to do, how to best manage and get best value out of your health insurance without becoming ill. That's the angle we want, isn't it? To understand the associated benefits of well-being without having to become sick to enjoy your health insurance. Because it's funny, my mum was saying this yesterday. Insurance companies, they just want your money and they don't want to give you anything in return. And I think we would generally agree with that. But to be fair, a lot of insurance policies are sold, health insurance policies, with routine and preventative medicine that you can take advantage of, or not procedures, techniques, no, things that aren't medical interventions, but things that you can go and have, adjustments, massages, those sorts of things, well-being treatments. And a lot of those are included in some policies. So let's find out how to take and make best advantage of those particular excellent medical health policies here in Portugal. So I was before I talk myself out of it and letting you know what's going on, because of course we're going to Lisbon at 9:30 to talk about learning Portuguese whilst drinking wine. That should be interesting, should be fun. Diogo will be here, and I hope Donna will join us as well. And I think Diogo's colleague, actually maybe the teacher, will be joining us. Let's see how sozzled they are at 9:30 in the morning. And staying in the Algarve then, some notices this morning. I've got some good news from the international school in Lisbon as well. Great use of a building, an architectural award for them. We'll look at that as well this morning. Let me see if I can. You have a quick look at this Valentine's Day dinner thing that I've got on the screen for you there, while I find something else that I want to show you. Where's that gone then? That's bizarre. It's funny, isn't it? You find things and then they disappear from view. I know, it's a Windows kind of thing. So I might not be able to share that with you. I thought I could. I don't think I can. I'll just have to read it out for you. But there are some lovely images with it, sadly. But I'll see what I can do about that. Or I'll put it in the show notes. That good news. But Castella Dog Haven, every dog deserves a loving home. And where are we for this? I guess that is, this is happening. A Valentine's Day dinner fundraiser for Castella Dog Haven. Thank you, Dave and Debbie, for this morning. Valentine's Day dinner, Monday, the 14th of February, as you might expect. 7 o'clock, €25 a person. The starter, you may choose from Aliera Meatballs. That sounds like a character from something like Ace Ventura, doesn't it? Aliera Meatballs, the protagonist, the anti-hero, Aliera Meatballs, with a plot twist there and a cunning plan. But that's chicken meatballs, actually, with cream sauce or Parma ham bruschetta or mushroom bruschetta for the vegetarians. The main grilled chicken kebab or grilled sea bass, salivating already, or ratatouille with sweet potatoes and a beet pesto. Beet pesto sounds great as well, doesn't it? Dessert, chocolate brownie, or passion fruit cheesecake. Carl, why are you talking about all this food this morning? It's because that's the menu for the Casella Dog Haven Valentine's Day dinner happening on the 14th of February at 7 p.m. Cabanas de Tavera. Where, I hear you ask, Cabanas de Tavera. And not only that, but look at that, at the bottom line there, live music from our friends, the Belters. Emma and Josh will be playing live at that as well. For 25 euros, can't be bad, raising money so that every dog deserves or can find a loving home there at the Casella Dog Haven. Oh, look at those little puppies there. Fantastic. Superb then. And we had one from yesterday that I should remind you about, because I think we announced it at the back end of the show yesterday. And who doesn't like a bit of back end action in the morning? So let me find that for you. Oh, and this character here, that's not a real moustache, but it is a real ponytail. Can you believe it? Who is this from our community? Answers not on a postcard. Stick them in the chat. And the Vagos Metal Fest. Well, we're about our notices this morning on this Consumer Tuesday. All those bands there over 3 days from the 28th to the 30th of July. If you like your rock and metal music. Ominous Circle. These are such good names, aren't they? Ominous Circle. Sacred Reich as well. And Tarantula as well are playing there alongside Trollfest on a different day, and with Testament headlining and Dimmu Borgir as well. And I can't read that one, and it's over superly gothic writing, but you get the gist, don't you, of what's going on there at Vagos at the Metal Fest between the 28th and the 30th of July this year. Hopefully an event that won't be blighted in any way, as events have been over the last couple of years. I think people will be rocking out there and enjoying themselves in July. This is what's coming up later today. This is the Portuguese lessons around wine, and this will take place on Fridays from 5:30. Maybe it starts this week, but we'll find out from Diogo later at the Shoes and Booze Bar, which is a great concept in its own right, the Shoes and Booze Bar. Goodness, I need a cough sweet now, I think, early on in the show, and I was up late, didn't get to bed till after 2, because I was up writing the guide, the course, the 12-part guide, the online migration course that we're very proud to share with you as a premium member and as a premium plus member, of course. Working on that late last night and realizing, I'm going to take a lot of this for granted because I talk about it every day, but the incredibly fully featured package, and who doesn't like a fully featured package in the morning of perks, and who doesn't like a perk in the morning? Perks, discounts, benefits, and all the lovely goodies that you can enjoy by becoming a premium or premium plus member with Expats Portugal. More to follow on that as we release and announce the goodies to you. Okay, so let's see. Let's not see who's here just yet. We'll come back to that. And we're looking forward to talking to Michael at 9. And I can't bring this window to you, unfortunately. Microsoft, what are you like? I'm just trying to open up a PDF, but I'll tell you what's on it. What I'm sharing with you is the good news from the United Lisbon International School, who have won the Lisbon Prize at the World Architecture Festival. After being acknowledged with the Best Urban Adaptive Reuse Award at Portugal's most prestigious real estate show, SIL, they are proud to announce at the United Lisbon School that they've won the Lisbon Prize at the World Architecture Festival, an accolade for being the best building in the city. So they've reused a 1950s building over there and put it to good use. We see too many buildings that are out of use, don't we, here in Portugal? And you must, like me, think to yourself, wow, that'll make a great X, Y, or Z, and they've done it. They've repurposed the building, 1950s building, won an award for it. And get this, look, it's a great honor to be receiving these awards for all our team's hard work over these years to make these projects a reality. So, say Chitra and Roman Stern, and of course we've spoken to Chitra a number of times on our webinars, on our lock-in, our Q&A lock-in on a Thursday night with the Premium Plus folks. But this is what they do at school these days. Got some lovely pictures that I can see that you can't, sadly, because I'm unable to share it right now. But I'll stick it in the show notes. The developers have created learning spaces. There's change since I was at school, and collaborative learning hubs. They have got collaborative learning hubs. There was nothing hubby or collaborative about my education, or was there? No, I don't think there was. Art studios, you were told what to think and you were told what to do regularly throughout the day and for several years. Anyway, they've got learning hubs, art studios, state-of-the-art science labs, a maker space with innovative equipment such as a 3D printer, Never had them in my day. Didn't even have a printer, did we? Or a computer, barely, at that time. The computer classes were lines of code that you laboriously programmed in just to print out a smiley face or something at the end. My goodness, how things have changed in those 10 years since I was at school. Oh, no. 3D printers, Ozobots. What is an Ozobot? Indoor drones, bee-bots, and laser cutters. Imagine if you'd taken an indoor drone to my school, you'd have been expelled and caned before you even got up in the morning. So laser cutters, oh my goodness. The faculty is using all of this hardware to build an advanced learning community, which allows students to grow and develop in our ever-changing world and be lifelong learners. Good effort, international school at Lisbon there, the Lisbon International School. Great work. And congratulations on those 2 awards. Right, who's here this morning? Goldilocks, aforementioned. Day 273, licenseless in Lisbon. Uber is my best friend forever. Bon dia to you, Duck. And Stephen Wright of the day here. When I die, I'm leaving my body to science fiction. Well, hey, and George Carlin, he was trending on Twitter yesterday. Why was that? Is it because of us? George Carlin quote of the day, that just don't just teach your children to read. Teach them to question what they read. Teach them to question everything. That's not funny. That's a sad indictment of the education system that the Lisbon International School are trying to change, obviously. Unfortunately, I have to miss the show today. We have a friend visiting. Oh, I see what your priorities are, but nicely, we can talk about Duck now. If you want anything you want to say about the Duck, say it now. He's entertaining a friend. Bom dia from the prof. Hoje tenha cuidado se você é rei ou rainha. King or queen. Careful. Today, take care if you're a king or a queen. I think that might be a little bit of a heads up on the history to come this morning. Big boy Crypto Pants is here. Ooh, I just want to say, ooh, after I've said big boy Crypto Pants. I don't know why. Today in Portuguese history, and I haven't even had 3 shredded wheat this morning. I've had sleep deprivation. That's probably it. 1908. Oh, dear. Seriously now. 1908, the assassination of King Carlos. No! The first and his heir apparent. Now, heir apparent looks like a depilatory situation, doesn't he? But no, heir apparent, Luis Philippe, Prince Royal, by assassin sympathetic to Republican interests, to Republican interested anti-monarchists. Republic interested. Well, you get the gist, don't you? Yes, King Carlos I, after whom the park is named, I believe, in Caldas de Rainha, a great park here on the Silver Coast, assassinated alongside heir apparent Luis Philippe in 1908. Grisly. Healthy. It's a shame, isn't it, that we have to report these things from history. I suppose it's a good job it's history, but still grisly things are happening around the world. And the sooner we can grow out of this sort of behavior, the better, in my view. But we have the technology, don't we? We have the technology to change regimes and transform our thinking and culture without resorting to assassination, I would hope. And I really do hope we grow into those. They're not big boy Crypto Pants. They're kind of big boy and girl transformation pants, aren't they? Doing things in a humane and loving way rather than at the end of a gun. Bon dia, Amsterdam. What are you doing in Amsterdam, Matty? I mean, it sounds like you're on a spring and you reached the elastic limit and you've been pulled back to the Netherlands there. Anyway, good morning to you, Matty. And from James, bon dia, Gampers. Feliz terça a todos. Didn't do my intentional language study yesterday, but got meus 10 minutos até agora hoje. Oh, well done. So 10 minutes before the show today, a minimum of 30 minutes later on. So that's 30 minutos mais tarde. Mixing it up nicely there. Brian Taylor's in as well. I'll likely be watching on. Have we got a message for Brian in the future? We could be psychic, couldn't we? Here, I'll likely be watching on Catch Up again. Yes, work getting in the way, is it, Brian? Not for much longer, eh? I hope, or is that part of your plan? I don't know. But maybe you could tell us, but only in the future. I mean, we won't get to find out. We'll talk about it another time, Brian. The events occurred in the Praça do Comércio. You can walk on those stones, those very stones where this happened, the Terreiro do Passo. The assassinations were the effective end of a constitutional monarchy in Portugal. Yeah, of course. Later confirmed by the 5th of October 1910 revolution, the lesser known revolution of 1910 and the 5th of October. Wow. Bom dia, alegria, amigos, from Peter there. 4 words of Portuguese, beautifully expressed. Thank you, Peter. Good morning to you. Nice pizza oven. Bom dia, alegria, gumpers. Hope everyone is great. Happy Tuesday from Francis. Moaz is in as well, and who's done 30 minutes of Portuguese for yesterday. Well done, Moaz. And bom dia, kids, from a beautiful, sunny Praia de Rocha. Good morning to you, Victoria. Well, yeah, after 1 month away from my Amsterdam house, my letterbox was fully packed. Hopefully with more than circulars from Lidl, Aldi, and the rest. I wonder, what would your letterbox get stuffed with with when you're in Amsterdam? That's a George Carlin joke in there, isn't there? So well done, Moaz, encouraging and supporting everybody here of learning the lingo. We are James's. Didn't take you long to talk about your bulging sack. I think he meant bulging sack. And I wondered, I thought that was a very tame greeting for you before the filth started, Peter Bleach. 11 days to my birthday, says Dougie. Oh, you don't look a day over 50 there, Dougie. Must be all that red wine. Just simply bulging. But we got the gist first time. We got our heads round the bulging sack earlier on. Thank you, Peter. Well, about testing. Okay, thanks, Matty. Went from Amsterdam to Pombal to Landau, Germany, back to Amsterdam without a single time to be asked about COVID test. Fatigue is setting in, isn't it? Can you imagine if you're one of those frontline people, how it's been to be checking and assessing and analysing people? It was a tough enough job on the borders anyway, wasn't it? Without all these extra things to do. And they must be terribly fatigued and sick of it, those folks, especially when they see generally how well people are. And we're not living in a zombie apocalypse right now. You can understand how they might be a little bit fatigued and people are just given up, basically. That's the gist I get from that, Matty. Bon dia, folks from Baddy. How you doing this morning, Baddy? And everyone from Andy. Cindy B's in as well. Anna's here too. Morning, Cindy. Bon dia, alegria todos from Cindy. And bon dia from Villarreal de Santo Antonio, from the photographer, the great photographer, Anna. Morning. Is that to Randy and Andy, or Randy Andy there? Douglas is letting us know that the St. Bridget's Cross used to be Radio Televisão, RTEs. It's easier to say RTE, isn't it? I didn't know it stood for that, Dougie, but that was their logo, St. Bridget's Cross. Owen here as well. Good morning to you, mate. How are you? Bon dia, alegria todos. Connecting up all the expats this morning in anticipation of talking to Michael Averbukh of Serenity, and of course, learning about Portuguese whilst drinking wine, and learning more about that process at 9:30 today as well. Erotic novel entry. Realizing she wasn't quite satisfied, she observed, I think I need to suck on a doctor or a saint. The lozenge special coming up. And you don't want one of them stuck in your throat. Suck properly. And don't be running and sucking at the same time, or whatever it is you do with scissors. Don't do that with cough lozenges either. No running in the corridors. Morning, Pete. No running on the stairs. Morning, Pete. Staring down the barrel of a 12-hour day. Oh, poor Andrew, and all of us here who have a slightly easier day than that. Actually, I think I had a 16-hour day yesterday, so shut up, Andrew, and stop moaning. Explored Monchique this weekend. Super place with... I know him well enough to say that, in case anyone's hearing that for the first time. How dare he speak to listeners like that? Explored Monchique this weekend. Oh, very nice. Super place with beautiful nature. Come on, wearing a pickies, Victoria, on your delightful Instagram, I suspect. Ooh, sorry to hear that. Well, if it's any consolation, we're looking at 4 kilometers worth of fencing this week. Wow. That's an epic job, isn't it? Talk to Donald Trump about that. He knows a thing or two about that. He might be able to share contractors or something, Pete. I think strategies may have been the word you were looking for with non-medical procedures. Thank you, James. What would I do without you? 20 degrees and sun hammering in posts, or teaching adolescents in the freezing and mad UK. Well, afraid I may have to decline, says Pete there. Matty, we have loads of help. The advantage of living in the back of beyond and having lots of lovely neighbours. So that's going to be like an Amish barn raising or something, isn't it? Will you drink lots of fresh lemonade when you've hammered all the fence posts in and put the fences up? Make sure you've grown a lovely beard for that, and you're wearing a hat, Pete, and you can clink together glasses of frothy lemonade Hopefully frothy because it's fresh and not fermented. But then again, fermented lemonade, that's probably good as well, isn't it? Strategy is a well-used word in my practice. Yes, strategies, of course. And you may well be able to get psychotherapy as part of your medical insurance as well. I wonder, and deal with all those issues that might be beleaguering your life and undermining your full performance in this existence. I wonder, we'll ask Michael about that when we see him at 9 o'clock. Just going to quick check my email just to make sure we've got everything we need. Let me make sure I've sent Michael. Oh, yeah, he's got the link. No worries, everybody. Michael will be with us at 9 o'clock. You've got your medical insurance. And then what? We'll talk to Michael about that. And I'll see if there are any, everything's been so focused on the pandemic and COVID. What happened to all the medical advances that we used to hear about in the newspapers? The PR machinery of medicine used to be really exciting, didn't it? Obviously, completely occluded and obscured by the pandemic. Let's see what Michael might have to say about that as well. Raphael, morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Bon dia to you, Raphael. And yeah, I know, says Matty. He's got a slightly hangdog tone to this. I'm psychic and intuitive in that way. I'm just looking forward to hard labor, preferably on my own land, though, after, is that decades behind a computer. Okay, Moaz, I've missed something, but so you were tested positive for COVID-19 last night. Okay, and how are you feeling, Moaz? It's weird. I tested negative last Thursday when I had symptoms and positive when I didn't have any. Yes, funny old game, isn't it? How do you actually feel? Never mind what the plastic says. Well, I mean, obviously, for some people in some situations, that's important. Like you can't travel if you've got the wrong coloured plastic or whatever it is. But how do you feel, Moaz? That's what I want to know. In this rational age, let's start with first principles, shall we? How are you? Rather than what has a strange and somewhat unreliable test done. Clearly, in this case, that's science I'm saying there, isn't it? Because it didn't work for Moaz. But anyway, you get the gist. How are you, Moaz? What's actually going on for you? After breaking my rib coughing, I'm going to take a more seriously, Pete. Is that what you've done? Was it laughing or coughing? Breaking a rib. But that's also a strategy, isn't it, James? When someone says, "Oh, I can't possibly help you today, but just put that post in there and that one in there and that one in there, and I'll be back in 3 hours. I'm just going to go and nurse me rib." Bon dia from Pam. Good morning to you, Pam. How are you doing this morning? I have to go and check now how hard my poll is in 10 minutes. We'll have to catch up later. Decided to concrete them in. Take that, Javali of Central Portugal. He's not going to let the hogs get past his fence, is he? He means business. Deagle in with a 14th of February message here. No thunder. Oh, no thunder in... it's not a warning to nature. No thunder. No thunder entertaining. It's Valentine's Day, 14th of February. You're early. Yeah, well, it's a nice fundraiser, and I imagine you got to book for that. In Raider Diabetic, that's not your real name, is it? I'm sure. And if it is, not making fun, but that must be an interesting life if your family name is diabetic. Wow. Good morning. And I'm just thinking there, like your cousins once removed, are they sort of type 2 diabetics or something like that? Anyway, but I think that's a product, isn't it? And Raider Diabetic, good morning to you. Is that self-testing? Is that helpful people with diabetes? And Andy, just so you know, he is now, that's why he's not moaned about it so far this morning. He is now the proud owner of an SNS number. Actually, that's something we can talk to Michael about, who's just limbering up in the green room, how to make sure you've got your SNS number. Maybe they can help with that, which would have been a huge relief to Mr. Gilchrist there. He feels blessed as a result of that. It used to be pardons, didn't it? And a little sip of wine and a little piece of bread. But now it's an SNS number, which can bring a blessing to the folk of the modern world. Don't talk about your future birthday. No, that's right. Well said. And that's a good intervention there. There's a superstition in Portugal where you don't wish people a happy birthday in advance. I would like to know the origins of that. It's a good one, isn't it? Bon dia, happy February. Cheers. This is the 1st of February, of course. Morning, Gary. Hope you found the webinar that I sent the link to you for, and you've enjoyed that and found it useful. Last week's webinar was the fantastic conversation with 3 folk from global international relocation. That would have been Luis, Diogo, and Lucy the dog, whose name I definitely remember. Lucy the dog was in on the webinar as well, and she was very well behaved, slept through most of it, which probably says something about my presentation skills. Gemini here also, and Antonio F. Before we go to say hello to Michael. Michael Averbukh, MD. Good morning to you, Doctor. How are you?
Great. And how are you folks doing? Carlo,
We're
okay?
doing good. Yeah, we're doing pretty well here. Looking out the window, lovely, bright, sunny day here in the Silver Coast. How's it looking in Lisbon this morning, Michael?
It's kind of okay. No clouds, clear sky, yet a bit coldish.
It is chilly at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit chilly, but that will change by lunchtime, of course, and you can take off the couple of overcoats that you might be wearing in the capital at the moment and just be sat there having lunch in a shirt. So we were going to talk this morning, of course, about Serenity and how you help people connect with the health system and the health insurance policies. And it's a great question, this idea of, okay, I've got my medical insurance. I needed to get that for my visa, for example. Now what do I do with it? Does it sit like a business plan, like an unread business plan in the top drawer, never to be used and to be avoided in a superstitious way? Or are there positive ways we can engage with our health insurance?
Well, the thing is, as you mentioned, like everybody has a health insurance as part of the visa requirements, or just because they understood the importance of that. Yeah. But the question is really, and we come across it many times. So I have this card, right? So, but then what? The card, in specifically in Portugal, it's a bit of a good and bad thing, medical insurance, because you have it. Oh, yeah. Thank you so very much. Everybody has it, okay? Yes. Or many of us have it. But then if something happens and you really want to use it, like, where do I go? Who's the physician that I have to see? Like, okay, do I go to the nearest hospital or to the proper hospital, to the appropriate hospital, right? And people don't regularly think of that. Nobody wants to think about health problems. This is why we have the insurance, right?
Yep.
This is why I bought the insurance. I don't want to have problems. But time comes that you really kind of, like, okay, I really need to see a doctor. And that's the issue in Portugal, because the card is a very nice financial enabler. You can go everywhere, but then you have to go online. You have to find what is the hospital that accepts your card. By the way, in several insurances, the hospital that accepts your card is not exactly enough, because you need to have a doctor that accepts your card inside the hospital that accepts your card. Okay. This also happens. And most of all, I think, like, people are becoming their own managers, their own decision makers about health, which is nice, but not always. I mean, you get up in the morning, you have a symptom that is, let's imagine a symptom that is a bit beyond, I have a runny nose and it's probably some flu, leave alone COVID. Okay. Yep. I do really have a symptom that I would really want to investigate and to get rid of, to understand what it is, to understand that this is not dangerous, and then to be treated. So you have the card, and that's the only resort that you can kind of, like, okay, I have the card, now what? You become your own decision maker as whom should I see? I have the symptom of a stomach. Okay, I have some discomfort. So who's the physician that I go to? And you can just guess, and you can go wherever you want because the card allows it. You can go to a gastroenterologist, you can go to a cardiologist, you can go to a GP, you can go to your internal medicine, or whatever internal medicine physician, you can go to an endocrinologist, you can go to a gynecologist if you decide to go to a gynecologist just because your card allows you to. But like, is he the right person, this gynecologist of yours?
This is realistic, Michael. This could have happened to me with the knowledge I've got as a layman. I could have ended up going to a gynecologist, and I'm putting it as a comical thing, but that could have almost have happened here, because the other aspect of it is when you're sick or you think you might be, you're also not thinking straight. So you are clearly, and I think this is the point you're making, you're clearly not your own best case manager, are you? You need help with this.
Exactly. Exactly. You need help.
Yeah.
And the thing specifically in Portugal that this accessibility/availability of the case manager, normally your family practitioner or your GP that you know, and he knows you for ages,
Yeah.
this accessibility is a bit limited. And
Yes.
for sure, for expats that just came in, they still do not have their own physician, this physician that really knows you for years. And this is where you start getting lost.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that I want to emphasize. You or none of us actually should be his own case manager when it comes to health. You need somebody to guide you, to help you make the decisions. Maybe not make the decisions on your behalf, but at least bring you to the right point of decision and discuss the situation with you and explain what is it that you're going through, explain the possibilities, and together find the most appropriate way to continue. This is what I'm trying to emphasize.
It makes so much sense, and I can speak from experience on this at both ends of the scale. Actually, you know, when we were new in Portugal, you know, we've not been here that long, only a few years, but when we were first here, and not thinking, the last thing we were thinking about was getting sick. But Luisa was pregnant here and had a complication during pregnancy. And it's in those moments where you really wish you had some insurance, because we didn't have to as part of coming to Portugal. And you wish you could speak more Portuguese, and you wish you knew the right hospital to go to. And I think the first port of call for us, I mean, you get quite desperate because, like I said, you're not thinking straight, you're panicked. And we were in a shopping centre, Almada, on the other side of the water from you. I think we were in the Almada shopping centre, and there's one of those hospitals in there. And we asked at the counter. And I mean, the way they were looking at us, we'd obviously started in the wrong place, but, you know, beautiful Portuguese people, they told us what to do and where to go. But we could have done without that, ordering an Uber from there and going somewhere else, and then finding out there that you need to do something else. And you just don't need that. You want to get the, and it turns out it was okay. It wasn't anything serious, but you don't know that yourself, do you? You think the worst, and you wished you'd had been better prepared. It's human nature, of course, isn't it?
No, absolutely. This is human nature. And if, again, specifically, we're aiming here towards expats, if any one of us remembers, like, how was it before, normally you would have already a phone number of somebody that you trust, and you just could call in. And you don't have it in a new foreign country. This is the thing that I think makes the vast difference. Because, yeah, you're absolutely right. Many times, those alarms, the red lights, the bells that are ringing are false, and you have nothing to worry about, and that's the good thing. But you need somebody to tell you that, and you need somebody that you trust to tell you that, or at least, again, to say, you know what, it's probably nothing, but we really need to exclude A, B, and C, and let's do it together, whether we do it for you or we really take you by the hand, lead you to the nearest, most appropriate place for you to do so.
Yeah,
I think that this peace of mind is really worth everything. Somebody that you know that when you call, he's going to be there and help you.
Well, the other end of the spectrum for me, my actual use of Serenity is when I phoned up and I needed some help. The answer was, "Hello, Carl." Something like, "Hello, Carl, how are you today?" Whoa, that's pretty amazing. And the service has been fantastic, and you've helped this family for sure, as you have with Moaz. Bon dia. I've almost given up on Portugal, but thanks to Serenity, I believe I could use your services when I have back pain or muscle spasms and I need care. So somebody who was about to call it a day on coming here has been given new hope. And Moaz, you've got a whole community here to support you. But I agree with you. I think Serenity are going to be really helpful to you with the particular needs that you have there. The other thing, of course, that you mentioned, Michael, is developing a lifelong relationship with a general practitioner or a practice. Not so easy. There's a shortage of GPs, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, right. This is a very painful point that you're touching. Look, in nowadays, there are more than 1 million Portuguese, not talking about expats, that do not have a GP, a general practitioner, allocated to them, or themselves allocated to a GP.
Yeah.
There's a great shortage of this profession in the SNS, in the national healthcare system. More than that, the existing ones are kind of on a daily basis are shifted towards treating COVID patients, etc., to ERs, to walk-in emergency clinics, etc., etc. And then your scheduled GP consultations are getting cancelled on a daily basis. We just had I've seen prior to joining the live stream, I've seen that there was one of your spectators said that, well, he's celebrating getting his SNS number.
Yes,
so
it's
one of our clients, yeah, no, but it's a great celebration. But one of
Yeah.
our clients, it was pretty funny. Like we spoke to him, he just adhered, and he said, well, I already have my SNS number. Not only that, I have my appointment with the GP. And I said, great, well, actually, great. You've been lucky. And then he calls us the other day and he says, well, it's been canceled. And then, okay, it was like, and when is your new appointment? So he said, I don't have one. How did that happen? He said, well, they just called me and said, don't come. The doctor isn't here. And I asked, so when should I come? He said, we don't know, we will call you. This is a bit of a Portuguese thing, but that's the situation.
Yes.
So again, many Portuguese and for sure expats do not have an allocated GP for them.
Yeah.
This creates this trend of I will just go wherever the car takes me, the plastic card of insurance takes me, and this is not necessarily appropriate. We've been into situations, we have witnessed situations in which people went to 2 or 3 different physicians. Each and every one of them sent the patient to the same tests. The patient doesn't know because, well, no, it's okay. You just get a referral from your physician, you're going to the lab. But the people repeated the same tests 3 times, totally unnecessary, and somebody's paying money for it. Even if you have your card and the card is paying, first of all, normally you will have to pay some percentage of co-payment. Yeah. Second, please remember that if you do this usage, not very wise usage of your card, when you will renew your insurance, they will absolutely raise your premiums because you've been using it, right? And you've been using it absolutely inappropriately because nobody knows.
Rascals. Yeah.
And another kind of Portuguese thing. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out facts. Okay.
A good caveat there.
No, but look, that's the reality. And people, I believe that people should just know.
Yes.
What the reality is and be prepared for that. Portugal doesn't practice unified medical record.
So okay. Yes.
Right?
That's a problem, isn't it?
That's a problem because by the way, even in the national healthcare system, even if you go to your GP in your posto de saúde, in your community health center, and then you are referred to a hospital, doesn't necessarily mean that the guy in the hospital, the physician that will check you there, will see what your GP has written in your medical file. Nor would he be able to see all the tests that you have done. So there's already a place for unnecessary duplication. Now imagine that you go one day to your GP in the SNS, the other day you go to a private internal medicine physician in Kuf, but you didn't like him so much, so you go to a cardiologist in Luz. None of them knows about the other. None of them sees in front of his eyes which kind of tests have you already done. Yeah. If I would ask you, Carl, say, did you do your LDL levels? And
I don't know.
Yeah, and you'll say, well, yeah, sure.
Yes,
and
I think so.
Happy LDL to you as well. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking.
Lidl, I'm thinking, yes, I went to Lidl yesterday. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a problem. And then you get it's a bit of a problem. We're trying, by the way, I really hope that we succeed. We're trying to create a solution here, bringing something within Serenity to have an application that will unify all your exams. It will not be, unfortunately, not immediately, that it will be connected to all the to all the hospitals and labs, but at least if you have a file you have received on your email, your lab results, you don't have to remember it all. You don't have to save it somewhere. Just put it on the app. The app will translate the lab results / radiology results, your CT, your X-ray, etc., through an OCR system, and we'll put it on a file. And then when you're at your doctor, you will say, "Hey, doc, I have here's the application, and this is what I've done."
Yes.
I hope that we can have it relatively soon, and that would solve a lot of problems.
What a great idea, Michael, and an innovation, another innovation from Serenity. I mean, let's face it, in this age, that shouldn't be that difficult, should it, to have an app with your medical records on?
Yeah, so the thing is that, again, in Portugal today, you have an app with your medical record, but it's only from one hospital. If you go to CUF and you open My CUF, you have, so you'll have all the CUF things.
Yes.
But again, the thing is, and this is back to the theme of our conversation, I have a medical insurance. Now what? The medical insurance lets you go to CUF, Luz, Lusíadas, Strofa, whoever you want. And you will not not everybody will have My CUF, My Luz, Lusíadas application, and then you will be starting playing with it, and you have blood tests here and blood tests there. And so we will try to unify it all.
Great idea.
Under one personal application. Something that we haven't invented, but it works globally, and we're trying to get to have the franchise over it here.
Very good.
Let's see.
Very good.
Let's see how it works.
It shouldn't be too difficult, but it's easier said than done, I suppose. I mean, if other companies and other sectors can do it, I don't see why it shouldn't happen here. I guess sometimes it's going against tradition, isn't it, or habits of an industry, which might be the case here.
This is part of the thing. Yeah, you know what? Actually, I hope that through the growing expat community, there will be a bit of a shift in terms of culture of providing health medical care. A bit of understanding how the culture works. Some physicians would say, well, I'm so great and knowledgeable, so I don't want to share my knowledge about you with anybody else, so I'm not even giving you a report of our encounter. And I think that happens. And I think that people that come from different cultures would say, yeah, doctor, with all due respect, I would very much like you to write something. I want to take it to my physician to send it back to the US, to my GP or whatever. And I think that it will take a bit of a time. It will take a bit of it's not exactly a market education, but the doctor's education.
That sounds so 20th century. I can understand how that might happen, especially in a non-paying situation as well. That does have a dynamic in the particular relationship, doesn't it? If you're not seen as the customer as well as the patient, that does have an effect on things, doesn't it? With the SNS, so if you can get service on the SNS, which we hope you can. Pam says she really likes the SNS portal where you can see all your medical history. So there is some semblance of it there, but it won't be completely joined up from what you're saying, Michael, with all the other private.
It really depends. Again, I'm not saying, and I don't even think that you can understand a priori what will be in the application and what won't.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to have your assigned GP, and you're always being treated in the same place, and it's all coming up to the portal, great. Thing is that when you start shifting places, or you have been referred to a hospital or a specialist in a different city, then it starts to be tricky, and not always it will be on the portal.
Yep. B is asking, good question, B. Where is the link to Serenity? It is on the screen there, but if you go to our business directory, you'll find it, B. And we've got lots of great feedback coming in. Just very quickly, then on the matter of GPs and the shortage thereof in Portugal, I did see on a Facebook group that somebody was saying there is a shortage. Assert your right if you have an SNS number, and I think it was a sort of British situation where there was a residual access. Right to medical treatment and to be able to register with a medical centre, the local Centro de Saúde. And some centres are saying we can't take anyone else. We haven't got enough doctors. We can't take people. And this person seemed to be saying, well, you need to assert yourself and ask for the complaints book. And they also added, and if the local Portuguese people seem to be getting cross because you are appearing to be a burden on the system, call the police. Now, I'm thinking, okay, I understand all of that, but is that really a situation you want to find yourself in? Now, obviously, from the point of view of cost, that might be some person's lot to be in that difficult situation, not wanting or not being able to invest in private healthcare. But what a terrible situation to be in, where you would need to call the police to defend your right to medical access. And I certainly wouldn't want to be in that position.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely not. Everybody, everybody has his own temper in a way, and it's absolutely, you're right. As a legal resident here in Portugal, to have the service, and the service is structured in a way that you're supposed to have the service nearby the place of living. But it happens quite a lot that they just don't accept new clients in a way just because the doctors are overwhelmed. It happened to me. I live in Alvalade in Lisbon. I went to the Portuguese Health. They said, "Hi, hello. Here's my address, etc., etc." They said, "Hi, very nice to meet you. We do not accept new clients." Yeah. So okay, now what? So, well, you can go to whatever. This whatever is like 12, 15 minutes drive. So, okay, I could get there myself, but imagine that somebody comes and he doesn't have a car. He doesn't speak the language. He's older. He's a bit limited in terms of traveling around. And we have those people. And ill. And you know what? Leave alone ill. Somebody that would need the support of the system, not on a daily basis, but like, once a week, once in 2 weeks, because he's really having some chronic medical conditions.
Yeah.
That becomes a very uncomfortable situation. Indeed. So again, not the police, but this is where, in a way, we might come handy. We've been through those situations dozens of times, okay? But we can't create miracles, but at least we can help. Some of the prescription renewals we can do without, like, online, okay? SNS does it as well, but in order to be able to renew your prescriptions over an email, you have to have this GP. And if you can't get to the GP, you can't get your prescriptions. So like, okay, now what? So
indeed.
With those small things, with referrals, with online consultations, etc., we can help prior, during, or after you've been registered to the SNS. For sure, if you have this private medical insurance, we will find somebody that speaks English and he's available, and he will sit with you not 10 minutes, but rather an hour to listen to what you have to say. And I think that it's important.
Well, it's clearly working. It's clearly working for some of your customers. A few questions before you go. I think we've only got you for about 5 more minutes. But look, Michael, I forgot to ask a question, says Moaz. Can you refer me to a good neurologist orthopedic for my back pain? My MRI says I have a very small anterior osteophytes, but not a herniated.
Not herniated disc. Yes, we can. Of course, it depends on your place of living, etc. But we have already established, in a way, a network of good physicians that we trust in various
disciplines and
disciplines. Sorry, blacked out with them. But yeah, we have several of them. We have in Porto, we have in Lisbon for sure. People that we worked with and work with on almost on a daily basis. But please, Moaz, just give us a call or send us a message, and we will be happy to.
Perfect. Jim in Germany saw a video that talked about Serenity a couple of weeks ago, and my wife and I are planning on getting in touch. Should we do that? This is a great question, Jim. Thank you for this. Should we do that before the move from Germany or once we arrive in Portugal?
Well, we are available over the phone before and after, so it's not a problem. But I would really do that before, because if one has a special condition doesn't necessarily mean that he's like overwhelmingly sick, but something that needs to be treated before coming to Portugal. It's important to talk to us and to understand really, like, okay, that's my situation. What's next? And we will be more than happy to tell you, look, everything is fine. Like, you can come here and contact us after you're here, no problem at all. Or we should really be treating you in a way prior to arrival and having your rights in the right order, be it private insurance or SNS and whatever. Because when you come here, there's something that cannot be delayed, as, for example, medical treatment. So you can talk to us anytime. We'll be happy to, to understand your particular situation and then decide when is it that you start really, or we start really be involved.
Look at this. This is how good the service is. Gerald at Serenity, happy to advise to start this process prior to arrival there, and happy to be here to help and guide you through this new journey. Isn't that fantastic? Dominic, a satisfied customer here. Michael, look, we moved to Portugal just before Christmas. We joined Serenity. They and Michael have been a huge help to us. Lisa, my wife, was suffering increasing sciatic nerve pain. We contacted Serenity, to which within hours she had a scheduled online appointment with a pain specialist that helped her through the initial diagnosis. How fantastic is that? Unfortunately, it got progressively worse. So then Michael found us an amazing neurosurgeon close to where we're living. She had an MRI diagnosis, after which the outcome was surgery. We were reassured that we were reassured that the surgeon Michael had recommended was very professional and had great English. Throughout her experience, to which we are 2 weeks post-operative, Serenity have been very supportive and kept in contact with her every step of the way. How good is this? They are invaluable. We continue to use them for finding a family doctor for us. Now, you're thinking it's going to cost hundreds to do this every month. Is it around €10 I'm paying at the moment for this excellent service a month?
Yeah, it's between 10 and 15 euros, actually. It's really a symbolic price. It normally, as a rule of thumb, it comes to around 10% of your, if you buy a private insurance policy. So it's only 10% of this policy. Thank you very much, Dominic, for the feedback. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Sue's in Finland, all over the world today and this morning. Finland has unified info. It's attached to my ID number. I have an EU health card. Would Portuguese Medical have access to my file? So are there cross-border unified information systems? I thought not. Do I have to request them to renew prescriptions, etc.?
You will have to request them to renew prescriptions. And again, as we spoke prior, if you are in the SNS and you've been lucky to see your GP and your chronic, for example, prescriptions or ongoing prescriptions are in the system, then this GP will be able to issue the prescriptions online, and you can get it in the pharmacy. This is one of the parts of SNS that works very, very well.
Yeah,
there are also very good things here. You get a prescription; it's all e-prescribed. You go to the pharmacy, you have a code on your phone, you present the code. The pharmacist already has it in his system, and he issues your medications immediately. This is a system that works tremendously well here. But again, up to the point that you get to this GP and he gets everything in the system, and then it becomes an automatic thing, you might have some hurdles. And unfortunately, Portugal is not connected to other European countries that have everything online.
One day, maybe. So another message backing you up there. That's fantastic. Lovely service in the comments as well. I'm not sure who that is in there, but it's Gerald at Serenity. Your team, all the members of your team I've spoken to have been fantastic. Last one then from Gary this morning. Once you're in Portugal, how do you continue with any medication you normally receive in the UK? Also, does the insurance scheme cover dental costs and appointments? I guess it depends which insurance scheme you're on, doesn't it? And what you buy in the first place for dental costs and appointments. But I think you touched on it there, really, continuing with medication. Dear Gary, look, answering on your behalf here, this is fantastic, isn't it? It's a Serenity sandwich this morning, Michael at one end and the Gerald at the other. We would advise you to start this process of understanding which of the medications you're taking is available in Portugal and avoid unpleasant surprises when you arrive here. So another tip there to get involved early and start that process before you arrive. Like so many things, do what you can before you get here, where it's possible. Whether it's currency exchange or whether it's the medical side of things like this. If you can do it before you arrive, it's going to save us stress a little bit later on because you'll have enough going on once you've got here. Another shout out for the SNS portal. It allows you to book appointments and order repeat prescriptions. Also, hospital visits and blood tests show up there. So it is a great system. And if you want a little bit of extra help, and where sometimes that system might fall down or not be available to you, or you're in a new country and you don't quite understand so many things that are going on around you, Serenity are a great help. Find them in our business directory, and I'll pop that link in before the end of the show, and I'll stick it in the show notes. Michael, we didn't get a chance to talk about new medical innovations. The pandemic has obscured the positive side of medical science. Maybe we'll do that next time when you return next month.
Sure, no problem. I'll be happy to. But yeah, everybody's speaking of the pandemic. But a small note that you read through news and it's all about vaccinations, etc. Something that caught my eye, and it's fortunately connected to the pandemic as well. Moderna's technology for the COVID vaccines have been used to create an anti-HIV vaccine. And I think that was like, whoa. If we can get an HIV vaccine, imagine how good is that. So they're starting phase 1 and phase 2 trials. Phase 1, phase 2 are actually first steps towards human use. Okay, so they are assessing the reliability of vaccine and the safety, etc. It's been published, I think, today or 2 days ago. I think it's a tremendously important news. Imagine
Amazing.
A vaccine for HIV. Yeah.
Brilliant. So let's have more of that when we talk to you again. We have been pandemic fixated as we might expect at this time, but let's look at some medical advances as well, shall we? When we talk to you on a monthly basis on the first Tuesday of every month. Been great as ever to talk to you. Always.
Thank you so very much.
And fun to talk with you. See you again next month.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Have a great day.
All the best. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, there goes Michael from Serenity. Just one more time, let me just put the link in to Serenity in the comments. Before we talk about, I should have asked Michael, the MD there, about because you often see this research, don't you, about the benefits of drinking red wine. We're going to talk about drinking red wine whilst learning Portuguese in just a moment. Let me just take that one off the screen there. Michael's gone now, back to work in Lisbon, and we'll bring onto the screen now. We should have Diogo somewhere, but we don't seem to have a camera on. But we do have the lovely Donna, who's joining us now live from Lisbon. Good morning to you, Donna.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you, and so excited to be talking about this and seeing you again. It's been a while, hasn't it? Last time I saw you, we were sat down together for dinner on a beautiful balmy evening in Lisbon. We had a fantastic evening, and we met Diogo, didn't we? We met Diogo that evening, from where this new idea is emerging to learn Portuguese and whilst at the same time drinking wine. It's this idea here: Portuguese lessons around wine. The Shoes and Booze Bar. I think we were next door to the Shoes and Booze Bar, weren't we?
We were, yes.
Yeah, amazing. So what a great evening that was. We have Sergio joining us as well from the project. Good morning to
Hello.
you, Sergio.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you?
Fine.
Great.
Thank you.
I think we might be able to hear, if not see. I think this is Diogo as well. So, Donna, it's a bit of a no-brainer. And Diogo's here, looks, and Delanda. So we will. We've got a whole team here. We've got a whole team to talk about drinking wine and learning Portuguese. Whose idea was this? Who came up with this fantastic and brilliant innovation?
Well, good morning, everyone. I think that when enthusiastic people come together, creative things happen. And Donna was telling me about this need of having a refreshing and enthusiastic new way of learning Portuguese. And then as a winemaker, I thought with a wine tasting included, that would be learning Portuguese the most civilized way ever.
Yes.
No question about that. So I'm guessing, Donna, when the idea was first shared with you, did you say, where do I book this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We knew exactly where it was supposed to go. We knew that Shoes and Booze was the right place for that. And we were so excited about this idea. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback from people. So we're going to have a good time learning Portuguese.
All right.
And drinking wine.
And drinking wine.
So we will talk about the wine because, of course, your family are winemakers, Diogo. And I think, Sergio, you're going to be leading the way with this. But shoes and booze, that's another great concept, isn't it? What's shoes and booze all about? Tell us about that, first of all, if you will.
Diogo should speak about shoes and booze because it was his creation, but it's a new concept. Okay. We try to mix again. We try to put some drinks on it, so life can be easier. No, but shoes and booze it's an amazing place because we try to mix two things that we love. First of all, the Portuguese shoes, handmade shoes, and they are awesome. And most important of all, we have this fantastic lady that I should be here. It's Delanda. It's our bartender.
Yeah.
And she's one of a kind, in terms of creating drinks, and you get the best of the both worlds. So it's an amazing place. It's more cozy than the restaurant. We are going to do this. We choose the Shoes and Booze bar to do it because it's more cozy, and I think people will feel better because it's very important for you when you are at the moment to learn something. Okay, and that's the idea, because the restaurant would be a great place to do it after. Okay, you can still go eat and drink some more wine, of course, because 15 minutes just to taste the wine is not enough. Okay, since we have so many.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so we're slowly working our way towards this idea, but we must find out about the wine producers from the Alentejo region that are your family, Diogo. So please tell us about the winemaking tradition in your family.
Okay, so it's the cork olive oil and wine production had its start by 1904, when the first vineyards were planted. And then from there, we had 2 world wars. So, but we have been always linked to the agricultural business. Mm-hmm. When I joined the company when I was 25, I thought that besides exporting wine or besides selling wine as everybody does, we should create some innovative concepts to the end customer. And so the first concept was the Lisbon Walker that exists still today. At the Lisbon Walker, when you buy a pair of shoes, you get a bottle of wine in a patented box. And so it brings together 2 of the most interesting industries in Portugal, the shoes and the wine industry. This was 2013. Then on 2016, we opened an innovative restaurant called Eating Bear. At Eating Bear, it's all about wine pairings, but not in a posh way. In a very relaxed way, we simplify wines, and our menu is divided in 4 dimensions to pair the great 4 dimensions of wine. So we have the greens for mineral wines, the fish for citric wines, the meat for fruity wines, and finally smoked meat, grains, and cheese for reserve wines, for aged in the oak wines. So the idea is people order food to share, and we bring the wine accordingly. Yes. So it's a relaxed and fun experience, affordable for different types of pocket. So we can have in the same place a couple of students, and in the other table a couple of very rich people, because the menu has been created with different prices that people can have a steak for a nice steak with potatoes
16.
and salad for
16.
12 euros. And in the other table, someone can be having a tartare of caviar and drinking a 40-year-old port wine. So this is very nice because you have not just one cluster of people, you have different people, multicultural ambience. And so that is the atmosphere of Eating Bear. And then during COVID, we came up with the Shoes and Booze bar, because we believe that a bar nowadays cannot only be just a bar. It should bring something more. It should be different. It should be creative. It should be an atelier of culture, of learning, of fun, of interaction. And that's why we are bringing an amazing agenda, and Portuguese lessons for foreigners are one of the key issues that we are bringing. It's a very nice methodology because we do respect the process of learning. So 45 minutes of each class will be taken seriously by a teacher, really focused on passing the contents. People can be tasting a wine or a different drink, but the contents will be delivered very properly. And then in the last 15 minutes of each class, there will be a guest speaker talking about a specific wine. Some of my friends that are winemakers will come. Some people from our own staff at Ad Hoc Wine and Spirits will speak about different wines. We have roughly 30 brands, so that can be useful to many different classes. But it's very democratic. It's not just to taste our wines; it's to taste other people's wines, and even other winemakers that could be listening to this conversation. They are invited to come and show their wines to this group of people.
What a lovely idea. There it is on the screen there. The chance to try other winemakers as well. That's a great thing. And I was looking there, 40 euros. Some people would be prepared to pay that for one lesson. That's for the whole month, is it? 40 euros?
So that's for the whole month. That's one class a week. So 4 classes in total. That is a 10 euro per class. It's very price competitive.
Great value.
But it's great value. But what we can assure is that the facilities will be impeccable. We have technology in place. We have nice acoustic, and we are bringing only top teachers because for us this is not a business. This is a way of bringing people together and bringing brand awareness to the Shoes and Booze bar and to the Eating Bear restaurant next door. So if from our side we see it like that, we don't plan to make money on this on this activity, Carl. So it's our drive is really to offer an experience, and so we will be bringing nice and skilled teachers and bilingual teachers to the place.
So that's superb. Sergio, what part are you playing in this?
Well, I will get to open the bottles.
The most important job. The most important.
No, I will try to explain some concepts of the wine.
Go on.
And best information about it. Because the wine subject is sometimes it gets confusing, but it's not.
Yes.
And
Okay.
people tend naturally to think that the wine experience should be something like very confusing, very complicated, and you need to learn this. And most of the people, when they try wine, they don't find or don't even taste this one tastes like rubber. Oh, this tastes like wood. Nothing about that, you know. And most of the people, yeah. So it's simple. And I'm going to try to pass that info, and how people will try to taste it and how they find it, if it is good or not. It's that simple, you know.
Oh, that's so good, and that's so Portuguese as well, isn't it? Like, let's get down to the basics. It's about wine. It's not about showing off, is it? It's not about showing how smart you are.
Because we do it a lot. You know, we do a lot of wine, so
you've had a lot of practice, right? Okay, fair enough. Oh, so, that's so superb. Go on, Diogo.
Sergio's role encompasses a bit more than that. He is always very, very humble, but he is constantly adding value to our business and to our companies. So the job of organizing the guest speakers and the wines that are going to be tasted, aside from the wines of Ad Hoc Wine and Spirits, that evaluation, that selection, and dealing with these other winemakers and selecting these products will be one of the key roles of Sergio here. And he is a great wine taster, I should say that.
Yeah.
Many years in the industry.
Yeah, amazing. I'm sure people are looking forward to meeting you and appreciating your down-to-earth approach, Sergio. Gilda reminding me there, I'm not drinking alcohol again until July, which some people would just think is a form of madness. And I can understand that sometimes. A day like today, I'm thinking, yeah, that was really bad timing. I'd love to be there. But Gilda rubbing it in, too bad Carl is not drinking. Pam saying, surely your Portuguese improves with wine. Sergio, Diogo, you'd agree with that, right? You are a better Portuguese speaker when you drink wine. Okay,
no,
so
we hope. Probably, yeah. I start to speak Spanish perfectly. After yeah.
I think it's going to be a giggle. I think it's going to be a giggle working with Sergio.
But mostly, this is like it was an awesome idea that Diogo had it, you know, because it's important for us. We got so many Americans and so many English and other people as well, but the way that they can learn, you know, when you're going to school, and I remember this as a kid, school was boring as hell.
Oh yes.
And when you are an adult, it's even boring. You don't have the patience to be there, you know, because I think you start thinking, well, I have so many things to do, you know, I need to do this.
Yes.
And I'm here just to learn. Eu quero comer, I want to eat. So it's like very smart, you know. And this is going to be a very light version of it, but at the same time, with the teachers that we choose it, and we are still choosing to work with us. I think it's going to be awesome because the concept around it, 45 minutes is nothing. It can pass very fast. And after we try to communicate using the wine. It's not just to drink the wine, okay? And this is the most fun factor, is the wine by itself, comparing to the words that you are going to describe the wine when you are tasting, or even ordering the wine. That's the concept around. We can do this with beer. Doesn't matter. We do it with wine because we produce wine, but we can do it with beer, whiskey, whatever. The wine is one of the strongest points that we had. So we choose the wine. But I think it's going to be it's an amazing concept. The idea was amazing by Diogo.
Yeah,
we had these amazing people like Donna and Jim. They're very kind people, very friend of us, the ones that we like a lot. And they told us, this is an amazing, let's go, let's dive in it. So
okay, when does it start? When does it begin?
If everything goes well, this Friday.
Okay, this Friday, everybody.
Yeah, this Friday.
Get yourself to Lisbon. It is a superb idea. If it wasn't for Donna and Jim, I wouldn't know Eating Bear. So just to get a few things straight, Rebecca Joy's asking, is this the same as in Facebook Shoes and Booze Bar? Same thing?
Yes.
Okay,
that's
the Facebook page is a little bit with problems. We need to make it. We made a new one, so that one is not completely full, but it's the same one. Yeah.
Sure, that'll get people to. That's the main thing, is to get people to the venue, isn't it, and spread the word. Go on, Diogo. You wanted to add something?
The methodology as passed to the teachers is not Portuguese taught as a novel. So if people miss the first class, they can still join in a second or a third.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The contents will have a certain degree of independence among each other, and so there will be a second workflow of grammatic that, of course, people take more advantage if they come to attend all the classes, but people that miss one can still come to a second or a third, because the subjects will be independent from each other. There will be a constant focus on phonetics. That is something super, super important. So it's affordable, it's attractive, and I think that people need to come together.
I agree. From this Friday, there you go. This Friday, what will that be? 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I think that's the 4th of February, isn't it? And you're going to drink wine, learn Portuguese. So many things going for it, and you better hang out with Donna and Jim as well, because that'll be fun. Just want to quickly return to Eating Bear. We had the most beautiful evening in there, Diogo, when I met up with the Doc. Was there as a Doc and Leona, Donna and Jim. We had a lot of fun that evening. And you're absolutely right about how it's such an accessible concept. You know, whether you want to go out for some fine dining and drink some really expensive port, or if you just want something light and on a different sort of budget, you've got everything there. It was a great evening we had, wasn't it? And I loved hanging out with the chef as well.
Yes, lots of fun. I'd like to add something if I can. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having us on the show. It's been wonderful to see you again. I'd also like to say that if the space is intimate, and so if you want to join us, please reserve as soon as you can, because there's space for about 20 or 25 people. We want it to be intimate. So we just wanted to put that out there. And I also wanted to say the real creator of this concept is Diogo's little boy. He gets really mad at Jim and me. How old is Mateus? 5?
Mateus is 5 now.
Yes. So he wants to talk to Jim and me in Portuguese, and we don't speak Portuguese yet. And he turned to Diogo one time and said, "Dad, make them speak Portuguese." And we're like, oh my gosh, we're really doing this so that we can talk to Mateus. That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
That's good and only right. Bookings on 917-997-430 there. Quick question: can a 10-year-old come and sit in the restaurant if her parents are attending the wine and Portuguese class? I think it's Portugal. That'll be a yes, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's a restaurant center.
No problem.
Rebel Mama. Oh, sorry, Diogo, go on.
So the classes will be attended in Shoes and Booze Bar. Okay. It's next door to the restaurant.
Yeah.
But no, we don't have a nursery at the restaurant or someone to be responsible for a kid at the restaurant. It's very important to be very clear and to say no, or we don't know when it's needed. Okay, we cannot be just yes people. So that is a little bit complicated, because we cannot allocate someone to take care of a boy in another business while the parents are attending the classes. So
I've got a solution. One parent goes and has dinner in the Eating Bear, and the other parent goes to learn Portuguese that night, and then they can swap over next week.
That's what me and my wife. What me and my wife do when we want to go to the church.
Yes, perfect. Use the
That's
tried and trusted tradition there. Superb, Diogo.
in
No,
any
you're
in any case, I tell you, a 10-year-old kid would be very welcomed at the Shoes and Booze bar. He would be extremely interested in the classes as well, and he would learn for sure a couple of things. The only thing we cannot sell him is the booze, but kids are amazing. So a 10-year-old kid, I believe he would be very happy and he would be very concentrated in the class, because the class will be, as mentioned before, Portuguese taught in an elegant and interesting way. So people will get to know facts about Portugal, facts about wine, about our territory, while teaching Portuguese. And then in the last 15 minutes, wine will be tasted, but wine will be explaining using Portuguese words as well. So a 10-year-old boy or girl would definitely learn out of that experience a couple of new things.
brilliant. Look at this cute poster.
And
But
we would not charge. We would not charge to the 10-year-old boy or girl. Okay.
Excellent. I think the government should subsidise that. Teaching Portuguese to the foreigners. So a cute poster, but needs a few more flags on the left. It's the Canadian. What's the Canadian flag? All are welcome. All are welcome there. Don't worry about that, Suze. And thank you from Dominic. Rebel Mama's asking about whether she needs to get clearance from her local health centre to do this. No, it's going to be responsible drinking here. You don't have to worry about that. So you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of getting an appointment at your sold for that. Oh, there was another great question as well for you specifically, Diogo, looking at your backdrop there. Big Boy Crypto Pants was asking, are you an Argentina fan or a Portugal fan? It's a big question.
So
that one is a tricky question. You need to be careful what your answer is, because your wife is from Brazil.
You don't have to answer.
I want you to answer.
I am Portuguese. I support Portuguese team. I am married to a Brazilian woman, and so I support Brazil in many games, but I have this very strong connection with Argentina. My best friend ever, he passed away in 2016. He was Argentinian, so that painting is a tribute to him. His name is Michael Averbukh. He was the best man of my wedding, and he taught me many things. He taught me about the importance of dreaming, the importance of creating new solutions for people. He was a very humanistic man, helping many people in many places. And so that painting with Maradona, with the turtle, and with the stars, it relates to something that he always said throughout his life. He said that even turtles have the right to look at the stars.
Beautiful, beautiful. Nice. Diogo? What was his name?
His name was Marco Rebozov. He was a brilliant macroeconomist, maybe the best I have ever known. And I studied at an Ivy League school, so I tell you, this guy was brilliant in macroeconomics. He had a very humble background. His parents came from Slovenia to Argentina, escaping World War II. And he was raised in Buenos Aires. I lived in Buenos Aires for almost a year. That's how I met him. And his friends that are my friends still today. So it's like a a small family of people. And I am going to tell you a fact that is impressive, and that shows how some people really leave a mark. Marco died on 2016, and he gathered a couple of best friends. Till today, there are people gathering once a week in Buenos Aires in his tribute.
Yeah.
That is something unbelievable, and it's a fact.
He lives on in that way. Incredible.
So that's the story. That's the story behind that painting.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for asking the question, Big Boy Crypto Pants. Sorry to hear the news, but good to have such a good friend. Respect to Marco this morning, and we didn't expect to be talking about that, but what a lovely, inspiring story you tell us, and despite being a sad story as well. Diogo, thank you so much for sharing that. And even the turtle deserves to look at the stars. Fantastic. Good luck with the project and all your projects. In fact, you're an amazing innovator. You've got a fantastic team there. Thank you, Sergio, as well for being here. I could listen to you all day long, sir. Your amazing voice, talking about wine and Portugal. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And Donna, thanks so much for being here. Great to see you. Lots of love to Jim.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon, and good luck with them. We'll leave the number up at the end of the show so people can get that number and make the booking. So
Great.
Hope to talk to you again soon about this and other projects, folks. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye for now. Bye for now. Superb. Okay, there they go. That's Donna, Sergio, and Diogo in Lisbon there. And what a fantastic idea that is. To be learning Portuguese whilst drinking Portuguese wine and talking about the culture as well. I think we had a few other comments that I might have missed, but did someone say you end up? Thank you for that. Coffee just in. This just in, a cup of coffee. Yes, the 10-year-old will be probably better than us at learning Portuguese. And someone was talking about talking Russian. I think the more you drink Portuguese wine whilst learning Portuguese, probably the more Russian you sound. Antonio F says that. Yes, you'll loosen up, but the excessive wine will probably evolve the language for Russian. There you go. Great idea. A couple more photos to show you that have come in during the show. 913-590-303. The number to send your videos, pictures, and messages to. These are absolutely beautiful. From Mon Chic. We asked Victoria to send in pictures of her recent trip to Montchique, and here they are coming onto the screen right now. These are really beautiful. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Victoria. Here is look at that landscape, Montchique Hills there. Look at that brilliant landscape and that amazing. What is that? Like a cafe there, built around a Citroën truck, possibly. Fantastic. Oh, no, that's down the road from me this morning, mixed up there with Montchique. There's a Montchique sunset by the look of it, and up in the hills again. I remember this. When you drive up the hills there and you look out across the Miradoro, the landscape is vast. The Montchique Hills there. Thank you so much for that, Victoria. Really appreciate it. And again, up on the rocks in the hills there of Montchique. Isn't that superb? Thank you very much indeed for that. I just need to make sure I didn't miss any photos that came in. Oh, sent by Raji. That wasn't Montchique. That was Faro. I mixed up. My mistake there. This is from Raji, who's in Faro, and a lovely sunset from there yesterday. A great way to close the show today. Thank you for being here. Smash those likes. And Capricorn 12, what was that jazz funk track of the day? I think it was a Don Blackman tune, wasn't it? Well worth checking out. Thank you so much for that. Oh yeah, had a great weekend in the Algarve. Oh, you've been and gone. Action packed with chores, visit to Leroy's. I was in Leroy's as well. Replacement sofa delivered from IKEA, alarm service, frango pork, and a cataplana. What a weekend! Classic textbook stuff there for a swallow visit to the Algarve there. Hola, bon dia. Jazz funk, fage do dia, Don Blackman, Heart's Desire. There you go. The bass line in this track transports me right back to the 80s when those summers were really nice and long. Fantastic. Thank you for that, Chris. And get yourself to the Silver Coast soon, mate. We'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, with Michael Heron, of course, Heronius Maximus, in with political insight and analysis. What does it mean? It doesn't feel any different yet, does it? Antonio Costa's third term as Prime Minister. And leading the PS party. What will that mean for Portuguese people, for expats in Portugal already and those moving here? We'll talk to Michael Heron about that tomorrow. And so I look forward to seeing you then. This is the time I start coughing because I've been talking for an hour and a half. Take care. Bye for now. And we'll see you in the morning. Good luck with the visit to the new house, Cindy B. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.